What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Oh man, it's like the morning after the night before. You're trying to figure out what happened last night. It's like when you've gone out, I had a big night, you've drank too much and you're trying to, piece it all together, what happened. But we're back, people. The transfer window has closed. No new signings at the end. But, we got to kind of make do with what we've got. And I'm already in slow mode today. So I will now be calling it Edu mode for the foreseeable future. Because I'm not sure if Edu knew that yesterday the transfer window was closing. And when I turn up with Alexis Sanchez on the background, that's when I'm just in a rebellious mood. If you see Sanchez or Anelka on the background, I'm in a rebellious mood. And I'm not happy. But listen, we move, people. Life goes on. And one thing I want to say before we get into the show is I really want to thank everybody for the support. Not just yesterday, but throughout the window and the whole time. But yesterday, obviously, we did 3 streams. Morning, afternoon and evening. Brilliant numbers, loads of interaction, loads of support. Nearly 1,000 new subscribers. I think we had nearly 6,000 people in the second live yesterday. So really want to thank everyone for, continuing to support the channel. And listen, we got to work with what we've got, people, in terms of the players. So big up to the community, C-Unit Business, and everyone who tuned in on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Right, that's it for the positivity. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. For everyone else, it was the end of the transfer window, but for Arsenal, yesterday was purely Thursday. Another day of the week because they didn't do anything. Let me start by just bigging up the new members. Jitesh, thank you very much for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate it. And Willie Williams, thank you very much to you as well for joining and becoming a member of the channel. Big up to both of you. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. We'll get into it, get it out of the way, and then we'll focus on the game ahead. Man United, press conference reaction, pure capping from Arteta from what I saw in that window, in that press conference regarding the window. So let's talk about what happened yesterday and a few other things. Now, yesterday was one name and one name only, Douglas Luiz. Didn't happen. I don't know how it didn't happen. Did Aston Villa bump us? Did we mess around? Was this 40 million and a pound all over again? Was we under bidding for a player that we knew we couldn't get? Did they do it purely to save face? And to show people that they tried to do something? I don't know what happened. There's videos of Edu with toes in his mouth. I mean, what am I supposed to think? This is the guy meant to be signing our players to take us back to greatness. He's putting these fruity videos up online. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we move. We're trying to move anyway, but it's all mad, people. Douglas Luiz, Arteta's quote. This is one of his quotes from the press conference. We tried. He was asked about Douglas Luiz. He said, we tried. And at the end of the day, we have to bring in the players. We feel all right, but we didn't manage to do it. I mean, that explanation ain't enough for me right now. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm still a little bit angry with what happened last night. So right now, that explanation don't cut it with me. So it is what it is. But anyway, Arsenal had 3 bids rejected. The last one was 25 million, 40 minutes before the deadline. And then they decided not to overpay. I mean, oh dear. Our last bid was at 10:20. Window closed at 11. Didn't get the deal done. Didn't move for anybody else. Didn't get a midfielder in. And and that was that. The window passed. As I said, everyone else, it was the transfer window. For Arsenal, it was Thursday. Crazy. Jashar said, big up Curtis. Do you remember Edu saying he hated the transfer windows? Maybe he's in the wrong job. To me, if you're a technical director, that should excite you, a transfer window. This is your opportunity to be the man, to show everyone that look at the players I've delivered you. Look at the deals that I went out there and negotiated for you to go and enjoy this season. How would a sporting director, a technical director, not enjoy the transfer window, especially at a big club where you're in a strong position where you can go out there and cherry pick players from other clubs? So that comment alone kind of sends alarm bells ringing for me. In terms of this deal, it's very interesting that we didn't get this deal done. For me, I think it's purely down to the fact of how late we tried to get the deal done. Aston Villa at the moment are having a difficult time. The manager's under pressure, and I think the last thing that Steven Gerrard wanted to do was get rid of one of their big players at that time on the last day with very little time left. I mean, what? If he sells him at 20 past 10 at night, it's very unlikely that he's going to get an adequate replacement in before the window closes. I know they signed Dendoncker, but I saw a report today that they were signing Dendoncker anyway, regardless. So for me, it looks like we made the move too late and the offers weren't enough to tempt them, 23.5, and then we went back with 25. I'm not sure what they thought that 1.5 million was going to do, but it certainly didn't make enough of a difference for them to change their mind. So again, you got to question Edu. Is it Josh? Did he not give him enough money to get the deal done? And then the other question would be, if you couldn't get Douglas Luiz, why was there no plan B? We were desperate for a midfielder. Other clubs signed midfielders yesterday who've got better options than us. Why did we not make a move elsewhere? Very, very frustrating. He said last week he wanted a winger. There was no move for a winger. So in the end, it put a real downer on what started off as a very positive window. Fitz said, I give this window 5 out of 10. Quality-wise, our squad is thin. This will 100% come back to haunt us, just like Aubameyang. Chuckle Brothers settings in full effect. I mean, Fitz, I'm going to actually ask the community shortly. In fact, let's do it now. In the comments, what would you mark this transfer window out of 10? For me, I'm probably around a 5 or a 6 because in the end, I think we've fallen short and I don't think we've addressed positions that we actually needed. So in the end, I think it's a pretty average window. We did sign some good players at the start, but I don't think we've done enough. I think 2 or 3 players more were needed. Greg said El Neni is out for months. How many times did we talk about depth? Sometimes you have to overpay, lose the battle and win the war. Totally agree with that comment. Alex as well said, Big C, Steven Gerrard said today they didn't want to sell their top player so late in the window. We should not blame Arteta or Edu. Surely we have to blame Arteta and Edu. Because the reality is, Alex, Douglas Luiz is not the only midfielder in world football that Arsenal could have signed yesterday. If Gerrard made it clear they didn't want to sell him that late in the window, you've got to find a plan B. That's life, that's business, that's sport. So I think the blame has to go with them. Maybe Josh as well. Maybe he didn't give them enough money. Caleb said 6. Jammerman said 4. Adiola says 4. Hassan said 6.5. Francesco says 5. Shiv said 6. AC 7. Niraj 6. Lychee 7. Big up Fran who's in the chat as well. I've just scrolled past your comment. Big up, bro. Mark said 6, Ariel 6, Terry said 7, Printer 5, Chris 4, Maitria gives it a 9, Brandon 7, Rayon 5.5, Harlex gives it, what's he said there? Sorry, apologies, it's flown off the screen. Harlex said 5 out of 10, we added quality in Jesus and Zinchenko, we left ourselves short in depth yet again. Can't rate this window until we see Vieira play, says Mr. Mike. Ziggy, big up to you for becoming a member. As always, appreciate your support. Jake Hammond said, I give it 5 out of 10. We are 4 positions short and we got rid of players like Pepe and Ainsley and we could have used them. I mean, no matter what you think about Nicolas Pepe, whether you think he hasn't been good enough or not, that's our record signing. We've let him go and not bought in a winger. Now, obviously, Marquinhos came in. There was talk of him going on loan. He's a young player who's unproven. And Ainsley is an England international. Okay, he doesn't get picked on a regular basis. But for squad depth, Europa League, those players would have done a job for us for sure. So you make a good point there. Why were those two not replaced? Unbelievable. Dio, thank you for the super chat. Said a solid 6 out of 10. Still disappointed in not finishing on a high. I'm so shocked how some people are actually defending this. We all know Partey is injury prone. I just want to discuss this before we move on. I don't want to harp on too much about this today because I've got to be honest. I've calmed down a little bit from yesterday, but I'm still disappointed. I stopped short of calling today's show Arsenal therapy. I was tempted. I typed it in and I said, you know what? It sends out the wrong message. We are top of the league. We haven't lost a game. You know, it hasn't gone wrong yet. At the end of the day, we expect what happened yesterday to affect us somewhere down the line, but it hasn't gone wrong yet. So I'm not going to call today's show Arsenal therapy. But ultimately, Edu, Josh, Arteta, Vinay, they have given us enough rope to you know, the blame's going to be on them. If they'd assigned a player yesterday, we could have said, you know what, they addressed the problem. And now it's down to the players. They've actually given us an excuse to say that's why we lost to Man United, because Sambila Congo wasn't ready for it, Xhaka couldn't perform, and we needed a new midfielder, rather than addressing the situation that they needed to address. So I think they've left us short, and I don't think it was necessary. So that's my disappointment. Omar said, your boy Aubameyang to Chelsea, what do you think? I think as an Arsenal fan, I think that's a negative situation, because at the end of the day, Chelsea were desperate for a striker, and I think Aubameyang will score goals. I don't think he's the Aubameyang that we signed in 2017 or 18, but he's better than what they've got. Are they going to score more goals with Kai Havertz, false nine, or Aubameyang playing up front? I think Aubameyang. I don't think they'll make him run much. He won't play out wide. They'll play him through the middle, whip for the 18, Sterling, Pulisic around him, and I think he'll get goals, 10 to 15, I reckon he'll get. So, you know, that's a team we're competing with. So, you know, I know that number 9 curse. I have to admit, I don't like seeing him in that blue shirt. He's not the player he was, you know, he's not lightning quick anymore. But let me tell you something, as a striker, the last thing you lose is your knack, is your movement, is your understanding. You know, you might not be able to run as quick as you used to, but your movement and your ability to finish, they're the things that I think leave you last. That's why you see players like Zlatan, 40 years of age, Cavani, 35, Lewandowski, Benzema, 34, still... You know, Benzema's probably the best striker in world football at 34, because you do not lose that knack. You might need the team to create a little bit more for you. So, it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting when Chelsea play Arsenal, that is for sure. But I don't like him in that blue shirt. I'm not going to lie. I do not like it. Let's move on. Let's address our own issues. Bun Chelsea. We don't care about them anyway. They lost in the week. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things regarding Arsenal, and big up Arsenal Presser who brought these up, and I wanted to look at them. This is our squad depth. Now, a couple of these positions, I've got question marks over the way he's done them, but we'll discuss them. This is our squad depth. Now, I'm trying to kind of add balance to everything. I don't want to have a meltdown today. I want to have an open discussion and a debate and a real thought process about where we are. Ramsdale and Turner in goal, I would say that is weaker than last season. For me, Bernd Leno is no doubt a better goalkeeper than Matt Turner, although we haven't seen him in the first team yet. But I've got no doubt Leno is better. So we're a little bit weaker there. And Ramsdale apparently is not 100% fit for Man United. We'll discuss that shortly in the press conference reaction. Left back, Zinchenko, Tierney, brilliant. Best left back pairing we've had for a while. Gabriel and Saliba at centre-back, beautiful. Holding, White as cover, not bad. White, Tomiyasu, Cedric, right back. Defence ain't too bad. We can work with that. We can move forward with that. Cool. This is where it starts to get techie for me. And I think he's the way he's created this, I think is wrong, because he's got us with a single pivot of Partey with 2 number 8s. We don't really play like that. We play with a double pivot with 1 in front, and then Xhaka goes to join in but drops back in. So you got Partey with El Neni and Lokonga. That drop-off is way too big. Straight away. You're falling off a cliff there when you're going from Partey to El Neni and Lokonga. You're talking about a top class midfielder to the other two. Let's be honest, we can't even rely on Thomas Partey at the moment. This is the problem. 58% of Arsenal's games he's played since joining the club. The best ability is availability. This guy is not available enough. And unless that changes, we have a significant problem. Arsenal should have signed somebody to go and challenge him, because if you signed Douglas Luiz yesterday, he starts at Old Trafford on Sunday, right? If we'd signed Yves Bissouma, we wouldn't be having this problem right now for 25 million. We should have addressed it. I know some people don't want to have the discussion and say, but we have to talk about it. Arsenal have made mistakes in this window. There's nothing wrong with us having that discussion. Babatunde said, big up Big C, I believe we were 30 million wasteful. We had a DM problem for 2 seasons. Thomas is injury prone. The Vieira purchase is a waste. It's difficult for me to make that comment about Vieira without seeing him play for Arsenal. As I said yesterday, I think the discussion we could have about Fabio Vieira at the moment is not whether he's a good player or not. I've got no doubts he'll be a good player. It's whether we needed to spend £35 million on a player that plays in the position he plays. He plays very similar to Odegaard's role. We've got Odegaard. Smith Rowe can play there. Should we have spent that 35 million on Basuma, on Douglas Luiz, on Yuri Tielemans, or whoever else, You got to think about it. If you put Fabio Vieira's 35 with the 25 we bid for Douglas Luiz yesterday, that's 60 million. That gets you Milinkovic-Savic. So I'm just looking at it from that point of view. Was that money well spent? But we'll have to see. And I agree with you, Zeke. I don't think we did want Tielemans because we should have and could have bought him. He's put ESR and Lokonga. Yeah, I suppose they could play in that Xhaka role. But again, yeah, ESR could play it. Lokonga we haven't really seen enough of yet. And ESR Vieira in the Odegaard role. Yeah, that's fine. Saka on the right. Nelson and Vieira and Marquinhos. Vieira not a natural right winger. Reece Nelson for me isn't good enough. Marquinhos, we got no idea whether that guy is good enough at the moment. Up front, Jesus and Nketiah, for me, were a striker short. I think we needed somebody else, an Olivier Giroud kind of striker to give us something different. I think we should have definitely had another striker, but that would have been in an ideal world. Martinelli and ESR on the left, I'm very happy with, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. So we're short, people. We're desperately short of a midfielder. We're short of a right winger. But that engine room in midfield, is a problem. Everybody is strengthened. City bought Calvin Phillips. Tottenham bought Basuma. Man United bought Casemiro. Chelsea signed Zakaria. Everybody is strengthened. Liverpool signed Arthur Melo. We're the only team this year that hasn't signed a centre midfielder. Where's the money gone, people? Where has the money gone? Where's the 55 million Rafinha bid? Where's the 35 million apparently that we offered for Neto? Where's the money gone? How come we couldn't get a midfielder in yesterday? But it's interesting. It is interesting. And I think I'm being quite mild. I could be having a meltdown right now. I'm trying to keep it balanced because we're top of the league and we got a big game on the weekend. But I think we had an absolute stinker yesterday. Absolute stinker. This is our transfer window. A lot of people messaging me, but believe me, I get a lot of messages after streams. People saying, we had a great window. You're overreacting, blah, blah, blah. This is our window in pictures. I think when you look at this picture and you see it in this context, I look at that and I think, how good a window is that really? I think the top row of that picture is absolutely fantastic. Value for money, quality players that improve the starting 11. They know the Premier League. They cost a good price. The top 2 from City, magnificent. The bottom 3 is just a roll of the dice, in my opinion. The bottom 3 is a roll of the dice. A young player from Brazil that's hardly played first-team football. Could be good. Martinelli was similar, but he could be Wellington Silva, the Brazilian that we had on loan for about 5 years, going to different clubs. Fabio Vieira. Could be a good player. Roll of the dice. What position does he play? Did we need him? We'll soon find out. Hopefully he surprises us. Matt Turner, I haven't seen enough of him, but at the moment I would say he's worse than Ramsdale and worse than Leno. So in reality, I would say we are 2 players better than we were last season in terms of the 2 that came in. And Wasim said, deja vu, we've seen it before, January throwback. I think there's a great comment here as well, what Bob said. He said, Jesus carries that window. And I totally agree with you. You take Gabriel Jesus out of that window, it's horrendous. Now, we did get him, so it's not horrendous. But I don't think we did enough to improve the team. You've got to bear in mind, Ainsley went, Bellerin went, Pepe went. A number of players have left. And our squad is not good enough right now. Do Arsenal have a good team? 100%. Do Arsenal have a good squad? I don't think we do. I think we're short. I think the players you're bringing off the bench in a season where you're bringing 5 off the bench in a World Cup year with Europa League football and travelling and the need for rotation, I don't think they've done enough to strengthen. Saliba is like a new signing, in the words of Arsene Wenger. But, that transfer window for me is a 6 out of 10 at the most. At the most, people. You put a winger and a centre midfielder in there and we would have been absolutely cooking. Babatunde said we had an opportunity to sign Basuma and Yuri Tillemans for under 60 million. Imagine those 2 guys in this team. I mean, what? Basuma cost 25. Yuri Tillemans, they wanted 25 to 30, right? Imagine going to Old Trafford on Sunday with Basuma and Yuri Tillemans. No problem. I'm not even concerned about either one of them. Right? Instead, we're going there with Xhaka and Sambila Congo. Everybody's panicking. Everybody's thinking, boy, is that going to be good enough or not? It's a question mark. We don't know. 5 or 6 out of 10, that window for me. Any higher than that, I'm struggling to see it. I would probably even say a 5 until we see Vieira. I would say a 5. If Vieira does really well, I would maybe nudge it up to a 6. So for me, I think we're short. I think we're short. I don't know why we didn't sign a midfielder. And, it's a real shame because there was so much hope and optimism. As I said, our last signing, Zinchenko, I think was the 23rd of July we signed him. And Edu was doing interviews saying, we're going to be really busy. We've got lots more work to do. And he did no more work, So why? Why did he not? We are where we are. And you know why I'm not having as much of a meltdown as I was feeling like last night on the stream is because I'm kind of at the point where it's like, well, what can I do about it? I can't do nothing about it. The window's closed now, so I've got to kind of deal with it. Let's get a poll up. I want to know what your rating is for the summer transfer window. It's closed now. We know the squad we've got. Unless Arsenal do something crazy and sign one of the out of contract midfielders, go and sign Ross Barkley or Juan Mata or someone. We are where we are. So I'm going to put a poll up. What would you rate our window out of 10? As I said, I'm probably at a 5. So let me get a few options up. We'll do 5, 6. We'll do 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, in fact, I'll do them so actually it goes lower than that. 8 or higher. 5 or lower. There we go. There we go, people. 4 options up. What would you rate our window out of 10? I'll be intrigued to see what you put in there. Andrew said the other teams have improved more than us. I mean, when you're playing catch-up with other teams, you've got to, in my opinion, you've got to do more than them because they're already ahead of you. And I would say, looking at that picture, have we done enough to bridge that gap? I think Fran mentioned it on yesterday's stream, which was really good. There's 2 different questions here. Number 1, are Arsenal better than last year? I think we're a better team than last year, not necessarily a better squad in terms of depth. Arsenal can be better than last year, but are we better than the 4 that finished ahead of us last year is the real question. Are we good enough to get in the top 4? Earl said we should get Ross Barkley. Genuine question. Would you take Ross Barkley on loan? on a free. And I'm asking that question seriously. Would you take Ross Barkley on a free transfer? Out of contract and can be signed outside the window. Would you take him? Big no. Darren said yes. Hell no. Barkley, no way. Most of you saying no. Some of you saying, yeah, you would. He's a free agent. Polymation said, yeah, better than nothing. Hell no, overrated. I think with him, he's had a bad time. He has had a bad time. Not now, said Joshua. It's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. I might put that in the next poll. Fernandinho, has he signed for someone now? I think he's too old now, isn't he? Raul said, yes, he's far better than El Neni and Congo. Curtis, we would have to. We're in 4 comps. That's an interesting one. I'm going to tweet that out there as well. A lot of people will be angry with that. Would you take Ross Barkley on a free transfer? That will cause a stir on Twitter. I don't know if they're ready for that question. But anyway, let's get into Mikel Arteta. Just rounding up, basically. Transfer window. It's closed. We are where we are. I'm disappointed. I think we should have signed a midfielder. I was really hoping yesterday that we got a midfielder and a winger. I kind of realised that we weren't going to sign 2 players yesterday. I think Douglas Luiz would have been a good signing. Could play in that 6 role. Will we revisit it in January? He'll have 6 months left then. You might get him for cheap. Tielemans will be in the same place. But for me, the problem is, what a lot of people said to me in January was, don't worry, wait until the summer. Now, a lot of the messages I got yesterday was, oh, don't worry, there's only 10 Premier League games until the World Cup, and then it's January. But January is a far more difficult window than the summer window, usually anyway. Your good point here, though, Jay Dime said in January, we need to get Luiz, Tielemans and Zaha. All 3 of them will have 6 months left on their contract by January. So you may get, January sales on those players. Wasim said we're a deadline day deal away from a deadline day deal. Yeah, we're monitoring. We're interested in. We're keeping an eye on. We're that team, Linked FC. It is what it is. I would have been so optimistic and happy today if we made a signing. Not Douglas Costa. He was the old winger, right? Douglas Luiz would have, I think, really lifted everyone's spirits today. Good signing. Brazilian international. But listen, 10 games until the World Cup in the Premier League. Let's hope that the likes of Partey and Jesus stay fit. And all we can do is hope that we're winning games and that we get someone in January. Apart from that, I've got nothing that I can give you people. Let's hear what Mikel Arteta had to say. I'm expecting to read a whole lot of cap from Mikel Arteta. Every word from Mikel's pre-match presser. This is going to be a Josh Kroenke defending session. Josh and Edu will be defended in this. I'm not even looking forward to reading this one bit. This is going to be very annoying waffle. On Ramsdale and Odegaard's fitness, he said, those 2 are being assessed. We will see more tomorrow. Hopefully they will be able to train with the team. Unfortunately, Alex Zinchenko, that's still not the case. He's missed 2 games and has not been able to train yet. So if you want to take that into account, it looks as if Ramsdale and Odegaard haven't yet trained, but he's hopeful. And Zinchenko hasn't trained yet, so maybe he's going to miss the game. I tell you one thing, right? If Ramsdale doesn't play against Man United, I think that game's a write-off. From what I've seen of Matt Turner, and I'm sorry to do that to him, but we need Ramsdale to be fit, people. Let me tell you that. We can't be going to Old Trafford with Matty, a.k.a. Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it in goal? I'm sorry, we can't have that. Odegaard would be a loss as well, but nah. They better get that game called off. Zinchenko not available as well, which is a loss. It sounds as if he's struggling. On whether he is disappointed not to sign a midfielder, prepare for cap in 3, 2, 1. He says, no, we had a lot of things still to do in the squad. You see the amount of departures compared to the number we have recruited. The club has done a phenomenal job. I don't even have a drink of water here because after what happened yesterday, you just don't want to read these comments. I knew the cap was on its way. The club has done a phenomenal job. Ah, dear me. Here we go. Mikel, you've already signed the new contract. You've signed the 3-year deal. You don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to do this. You already got the deal. You're good to go. You don't have to cap. You can give us some honest comments. Why not say I'm disappointed we didn't add to the squad yesterday? We could have done with more. You don't have to cap. I don't need to read this waffle on a Friday afternoon, the day after transfer deadline day, or as Arsenal like to call it, Thursday. The club has done a phenomenal job. Big up Don Draper in the chat. I knew you'd like that one. Tina Turner in gold, people. Anyway, let's move. The club's done a phenomenal job, apparently. Put everything on the table to try and bring players in. I mean, what did they put on the table? Was it money, or what did you put on there? You know, a key ring and a meal deal from Tesco? What did they put on the table? He said on the table to try and bring players in the profile that we wanted. We did business pretty early, but unfortunately, in the past 72 hours, Thomas Partey got injured in the same place as last time, and then Mo Elneny has a long-term injury. Then we had to react in the market, and we tried, but at the end of the day, we have to bring in the player we feel is right for the team, for the club, and we didn't manage to do that. So he's letting us know there, Arsenal had no intention of signing a midfielder until these players got injured. Now, bear in mind, people. This is funny, man. This makes me laugh. Thomas Partey was injured in training apparently last Friday. So he's saying 72 hours, but Partey was injured 1 week ago. That ain't 72 hours ago. Thomas Partey got injured last Friday. Mohamed Elneny got injured on... When did we play? Sunday? Saturday. So, Elneny 6 days ago. Thomas Partey 7 days ago. But he's telling us 72 hours ago they started to try and sign a player. And they didn't get it done. So in 72 hours, you couldn't find no one to bring into the club. If I speak, I'm in big, big trouble. Club's a joke. More BS, PR, and utter waffle, says Nick. South London's finest. Edu put his toes on the... Edu took his socks off, man. Nah, listen. Let me not talk. I don't want to talk about toes, but... Man went to Aston Villa and said, right, Edu, what you got for me, mate? You want Douglas Luiz, you put something on the table. Man said, right, let me take these socks off. Have a look at them choppers, mate. See what you think of them. What do you think of that, Stevie Gerrard? 72 hours. The man got injured a week ago. 7 days. I ain't talking about Craig David. Man got injured on Friday. Spoke to Gerrard on Wednesday. Made 3 offers on Thursday. Nah, man, what's going off with this club, man? Stop the cap. Putting toes out and... Nah, man, I'm done. I've had enough. You, man, made me buy Jamaica training kit on Carnival weekend, man. Yeah, I fell for it. I'm done. The club has done a phenomenal job. No, they haven't, Mikel. That's not phenomenal. It's just not, mate. 72 hours. No, he got injured last Friday. Elneny got injured Saturday. 6 days, 7 days respectively. Let's move. I've had enough of this waffle. On whether the squad has enough depth to compete in both the Prem and Europa League. Oh, man. And by the way, Fraser said, I love you, man, but you're a better commentator than singer. You know, I'm one of these... I just have to sing sometimes. I don't know why, you know. I'm not here to win Britain's Got Talent or X Factor, you know. It's just... It is what it is, isn't it? You know, just that's what you do when you're not a great singer. You just do your best. But I just try and bring the vibe, people. But anyway, do we have enough squad depth to compete in the Prem and Europa League? He said, it is the team that we have. And for me, it's the best squad and the best players that I have available. There is nothing else we can do. We have an academy as well that we have to use. And we'll try to utilise players in the best possible way. Dear. Listen, Hale End, man, big up Hale End. But right now, Is there anything in Hale End that can come in and get us 3 points at Old Trafford and maybe go to the Etihad? And I don't know. Maybe something comes out of Hale End and shocks all of us. But, Hale End, how about the transfer window, my brother? How about that? But we move. On his memories of United Arsenal, he said, yes, when I was younger, I watched it on TV, watching the rivalry and the special games. Obviously, as a player, winning is beautiful, and it's a magnificent stadium. Won't go that far, mate. They can't get Wi-Fi and the roof's leaking. But to go there and enjoy the game as a team, on whether the fixture still has the same edge, he said, I don't know. I think that there have been moments when the history and the media were talking about it, the special rivalry. Listen, without him even saying that, it doesn't have the same edge. This was two teams fighting for the title. Now we're fighting for fourth. So it doesn't have the same edge, but I've got to be honest. And until I moved down south, for me, Arsenal v Man United was always the biggest game. I got to be totally honest. When I lived in Nottingham, and I'm a Nottingham boy, Arsenal v Man United growing up was the biggest game for me of the whole Premier League season as an Arsenal fan. That rivalry, Wenger, Ferguson, Van Nistelrooy, Henry, Vieira and Keane. This was the number one game in the Prem. Since I've moved down here, I understand the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry is a lot deeper when you're in London. But yeah, Arsenal-United does always have that special feel to it. I can't lie. Gunnar Roller said no more than 5 or 6 out of 10. Edu has burnt the barbecue again. Rowan said Keane v Vieira. Now it's Sambi versus McTominay. It's all mad, isn't it, man? It's absolutely all mad. But hey, it is what it is. Let's see what else he's got to say on Man United's form. When you look at the squad they have, the players they have signed, the amount of money they have spent, it's no surprise they are going to win a lot of football matches. The history of Man United tells you it's going to happen. They are a big rival. We know that, and we're going to compete with them. On the transfer window, again, they're trying to get him back. At least they're questioning him on it. We push to strengthen the team and bring the best possible people and players into the football club. We have managed that to a certain level. Interesting. I like that. Certain level. That kind of tells me that he's not totally satisfied with what happened. Listen, for me, Arteta, just let the clip off. Anyone who listened to the show yesterday, did you hear how Ben Jacobs was letting the clip off at Fabrizio yesterday? I couldn't even believe it. He was speaking so sophisticated. I didn't even realise he'd loaded the clip and let all of them off. Poop, 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 poop. Man was just letting loose. Just let the clip go on Edu, man. Say, listen, I wanted more. The brother had toes in his mouth and didn't get me what I want. That's all I want to hear from Arteta. You know what I mean? But he said they have managed it to a certain level. Then we have our limitations. Time was a big limitation in what happened in the last 72 hours. He loves this 72 hours shout now, don't he? With our midfield, we tried to act, but we couldn't find the right player. Dear me. It's they're just things that you don't want to read. You just don't want to read it. Other clubs found players. We couldn't find no one. Where was we looking? In the Sahara Desert? Like, where was we looking for players? You know what I mean? Tell me where you was looking. Everybody else found players. We couldn't find no one. We was in the desert digging in the sand. Edu, any joy, mate? No, I can't find a midfielder out here, mate. It's too... dear, let me move. Tony said, I don't comment much, but please, I need to say this. Thank you. You do a fantastic job. You really make this look easy and fun. Just need to big you up. Hey, really appreciate it, bro. Really appreciate it. Listen, one thing I realized in life, on YouTube, on Twitter, whatever, when you say what you genuinely think, you won't be popular with everybody because not everybody can handle harsh realities sometimes. Sometimes people want you to cap and just say everything's rosy in the garden. But I'm just going to say it as I see it. I try and be balanced. And listen, big up to you and big up everyone who supports the channel, of course. Make sure you like the video and subscribe, though. I feel like he is having a sly dig at Edu here, to a certain level, but didn't go all in. On not panicking, he said, I think we have learned a lot from that. And there's still players that we have to get out. And there's still players that we have to get out. Does he mean we've currently still got players at the club that we have to get out? Or is he saying we had to get players out? I haven't seen how he said that. We only have to bring tin up. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Grammar police are back. I hate to do this because I hate grammar police. There's nothing worse than when you send a message to someone and maybe spell check does something and you get it wrong and they go, oh, but I'm sorry. This is Arsenal Football Club. You got 20 million followers on Twitter. I don't think it's too much for spell check. We only have to bring in tin-up talent, they said. I think it means top talent. Top quality people through the door and be very disciplined in those moments. You can make a huge mistake that can cost the club and team a lot, and not just in the near future, but a little bit ahead. And we want to avoid that as much as possible. Listen, I'm trying my best not to be too harsh here, because we don't know whose issue this is and who made this mistake in the transfer window. But me as a fan, I'm just not interested in hearing that right now. Everybody knows in football, when you sign a player, there's a chance it can go wrong. That's the reality of every single transfer. But you know more often than not, if you sign top quality, more often than not, it works out. In some cases, it just doesn't because of the circumstances. We can't start making the excuse that we saved money, we got wages off the wage bill, we didn't risk it. No, I think not buying anyone was a huge risk. You know, maybe we could have got a player in on loan or done something else. Just to give you a few examples, people. Zakaria went to Chelsea yesterday on loan. Swiss international midfielder from Juventus. We were linked with him when he was at Mönchengladbach on loan with an option to buy for 30 million. Would have been a good option. Arthur went to Liverpool. We tried to get him last January. They wanted a 2-year loan with an obligation. Liverpool got him on loan with an option. Could have helped us. Gini Wijnaldum, lots of Premier League experience. Champions League winner, Premier League winner. Gone on loan to Roma in this transfer window from PSG. Another one. Renato Sanchez, £15 million. I know he's had injury problems, but a top midfielder. Gone to PSG. The list goes on and on. I could be here all day talking about centre midfielders that have moved. Zakaria and Arthur were yesterday as well. So, you know, even in this 72 hours that he keeps talking about. Gunnar Paul said, Big C, Edu and Arteta gone all. Sean Paul featuring Dua Lipa singing No Lie. Gonna get lit tonight, no lie, to us Arsenal fans last night. They've been capping, mate. I'm telling you, the PR has been far better than the reality. Don said, true, Big C, you're a real entertainer. It's fun to watch your daily streams. Appreciate that, bro. Jitesh said, Curtis, I once said I would rather listen to an Arteta press conference than hear you sing. I would like to deeply apologise and take it back. Jitesh, I told you at the time, you're going to have some painful press conferences. You know, my singing, not the best, but certainly better than this. They can't even spell words in this press conference. So, yeah, it is what it is, people. It is what it is. But big up to you. I accept your apology. Babatunde said, I'm out of syrup. I'm done. We ain't got enough syrup to deal with this, man. I'm telling you. Let me get back through. Yeah, Carlos Soler as well. Fabian Ruiz. The list goes on. So many midfielders. Tielemans, 25 million. Didn't get a move. We could be here. We could name 15, 20 centre mids that have moved. But we couldn't find any. Big up the legend, Skullfuggery. Tielemans not moving in the window is a weird one. Every time a big club got linked, their interest called. Must be more to him than meets the eye. Yeah, maybe. Maybe his wage demands were crazy. Maybe clubs just want to wait and get him for free at the end of the season. Make sure you follow Skullfuggery, the legend. On more opportunities for Lokonga and Vieira, he said, believe more in the players that we have. Look after them better, give them confidence, and they have the ability to do it. Bro, I think that's your job. You know, we can help them by supporting them, but that's down to you. You know, you bought them. You can't put that on us. On Old Trafford, posing our biggest test this season. He says the test in the Premier League is every single week, every opponent that you play. You see it in every game that will be played this weekend, and I don't expect anything different. Just typical. DJ McDaddy said, we couldn't find any players and we are top of the league. Remember, after 3 games in, Arteta said he was happy with the players he got. Go figure. And you make a good point there, right? when you're top of the league, high flying, players will be looking at Arsenal going, I want to go and sign for them. They're top. They're flying. They're playing good football. They've signed Jesus and Zinchenko. It's much more difficult like last season when you're bottom of the league and you're struggling and people think, they look like they're going in the wrong direction. So you make a good point there. I think a lot of players would have wanted to come to this Arsenal team, which makes it even more, mind-boggling that we couldn't find anyone. On Aubameyang moving to Chelsea, he said, I'm sure he's made that decision because he wants to change again and find the best possible for his future. And we here wish him the best of luck. Very, very polite there. If only you could have settled your differences, eh? But we move. Let me not get into it. On Zinchenko's fitness, he said, again, after missing 2 games and not being able to be ready to train yet with the team, that is the situation we have. Sounds like Zinchenko, he's going to be struggling to be available for the game on the weekend, which is a big loss. Definitely could have done with having him back. Maybe he could have even played in midfield, to be honest. So we'll have to see. Mr. Mike said, Luiz wanted us, though. Yeah, amazing. Seemed like he was really intent on joining Arsenal, but we couldn't get him out of Villa. The interesting thing is, when you look at Aston Villa over the last year, we sold Emi Martinez for 19 million. Very good price for a top keeper at the time. And Callum Chambers, I believe, was it 2 million or $1 million? Some peanuts for Callum Chambers. So we've done them a couple of decent favours. You know, you would have thought they could have thrown us a Douglas Luiz for 25 million. Unfortunately, it's a dog-eat-dog world when it comes to transfers. And they're not interested in that, I'm afraid, Aston Villa. Radal said, Big C, Arsenal got me spending money to support a transfer that didn't happen. They got me on the yard kit. I was saying the same thing, bro. Yeah, man, I'm buying training kits so they sign a midfielder. And these man just pocketed the money. Kroenke said, thanks a lot, mate, but you ain't getting no midfielder. Work with what you've got. So, yeah, they done us dirty, man, for sure. On whether this squad is more capable of handling absent players. He said, I hope we do, and I hope we can still play really well with many other players. I don't have to point my finger at something to lose a football match, and that is not something that I do to analyse a performance. No pointing of the finger, yeah? On whether we will be less active on deadline day in the future due to early business. He says, no, because yesterday we could have done something if it was the right player, the right deal, and something that we could afford. Because sometimes you have to react to something that happened, and we would have done that. Yesterday it was a real possibility, and we tried. But then we kept the decision to say that it has to be the right player for the team and for the club. I mean, I'm actually, my eyes are in agony even looking at this, honestly. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I'm finding it really difficult to even look at this. It's painful to even read it. Just tell us what you really think. You've signed the 3-year deal. You're good. They ain't sacking you. They're not paying you off $8.5 million for 3 years. Tell us the truth, man. You're vexed. We should have got a deal done. That's the purest waffle. That is the purest of pure waffle. Just take the cap off and tell us the truth, man. MGS, I'd rather keep this squad, Curtis. I have to defend this team for that. Some key Champions League players, bro. Perspectives, love from Ethiopia. Would you have not rather added quality to it and improved it, MGS? That's the question. Why was it such a big thing to be asking as a fan for one more player? Ideally, I wanted 4. Realistically, I'd have taken 2. In the end, I would have been happy with 1. Why is that so difficult to ask for? You know? The manager, like young Nizzle saying, if we found the right player. Well, according to reports, you did find the right player. Douglas Luiz, you couldn't convince the club to sell him. So it's not about finding the right player. You found a player you want. As a club, you weren't able to negotiate the deal with Villa. That's a very different story. On Hector Bellerin, this is going to be waffle. Get the syrup ready, people. He called me really late last night. It was a late one. And it was more of a conversation that we used to have when we were teammates and really good friends. Oh, football friend. If you take away the coaching and player situation a little bit, I get back into that relationship as well. I love the kid. I love what he's done for the club. He's someone that I have really strong feelings about, and I wish him all the best because I know that it's one of his dreams to play there. Hopefully he can fulfill his dream and get his career back to where he can, because he's still very young and he has a lot he can do. I knew it was his kid all along, man. Yeah, I know it. I know it. That's your boy, man. We know that. Listen, in all fairness, Hector Bellerin gave us a lot of service. Looked like a young star when he first came in at right back. But ultimately, after the injury, he just wasn't the same player. And in all fairness, he probably should have left the club a couple of years ago. What I will say, disappointing again not to get no money for him. You know, you have a guy at the club for 10 years. You develop him. He becomes a Spanish international. A big club like Barcelona's coming in for him. And again, Arsenal can't even get a packet of biscuits for a player after spending years developing and spending loads of wages on him. It's certainly something that Arsenal have to look at improving, is their ability to sell players. Why can we not get money for these players? You know, I just seen Liverpool sell Nico Williams to Nottingham Forest for 17 million. A bang average right back who's hardly played first team football. So, yeah. Man said, Damn Daniel said, Arteta be like, we have a risk, guys. It's a beautiful risk. Let's go for it. Somebody just said it. I feel sorry for Lewandowski. Listen, that is an absolutely elite comment. Wait until Lewandowski makes that run into the penalty area. Hector Bellerin's got the ball and that cross don't find him. Wait till a man comes short for the ball and he does a foul throw at the Nou Camp. But in all fairness, listen, big up Hector Bellerin. You weren't the player we needed at the end, but you gave great service to the football club. All the best. On what it would mean to win at Old Trafford, he said it's not something new. We've done it before. We have to do it again. And we have to believe from today, yesterday, and straight after the game, we are capable of going there and playing how we want in the match. On whether we know how long El Neni and Partey will be out for, this will be interesting. He says no. With Mo, it's probably a little bit easier. And we are talking months. With Thomas, hopefully we are talking with weeks or even shorter than that, I hope. I mean, after what happened yesterday, that is not good reading. No matter what I think about El Neni, we need options. And he's saying months. El Neni's going to be out for months. I mean, I'm not sure what to say. I have to be careful how I say this, because El Neni's out for months. Partey's out for weeks. Partey's got a recurring injury that possibly could happen again. He's only played 58%. It makes it even crazier that we didn't sign a midfielder yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep mentioning it, but we didn't sign a midfielder. Partey is out for weeks. And El Neni is out for months. We are short, people. And we've just let Ainsley Maitland-Niles go on loan. So in reality, we have Xhaka, we have Congo, and then maybe you can put a Zinchenko in there or something as a stopgap. Let me end that poll. It's been up for ages. Let's end the poll. Let's see what your votes were. 41% of you say it's a 6 out of 10 window. 31% say 5 or lower. 22% say 7. And just 5% say 8 out of 10 or higher. I mean, very disappointing. Very disappointing. When you think about it, not only... I understand that you have to get rid of players sometimes, right? Sometimes players are at the club for a long time and you have to get rid of them. But... surely this year we needed a healthier squad than last year. 5 subs, World Cup in the winter, and we're back in Europe. We've let go of Torreira. We've let go of Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We let go of Pepe. We've let go of Bellerin, Pablo Mari. Not all of these players are players that I want to keep, by the way. I would have got rid of a lot of these. But where are the replacements? How can you let Pepe go without bringing somebody in? How can you let Ainsley go without bringing somebody in? You now know that El Neni's out for months, according to the manager. Thomas Partey out for weeks. Guendouzi goes for 9 million. the depth is not there. We're one or two more injuries away from a real crisis. We got to hope that the gods are blessing us and that we do not get any more big injuries and that we can survive until Thomas Partey comes back from injury. That is for sure. Steve said, "Hi, Curtis. I think we all expected something to happen on deadline day because of the midfield injuries. I think it was a good window." Listen, fair enough. I'm not here to shoot anybody's opinion down. A lot of people are happy with the window because of the feel-good factor. I just think we've left ourselves at least 2 players short of where we needed to be, in my opinion. But time will tell. On whether Partey's minutes in training need to be monitored differently in the future, he said, "We have tried to manage him. A lot has happened since he joined, and we are trying to find the best possible way to find the reason why that happens. But unfortunately, the body and mind are 2 different groups. So sometimes to understand that, you can't put your finger on a single thing to try and prevent something happening. The attitude of the player is there, and he's really disappointed to be out again, as you can imagine, and the team needs him back when he's back." It's unbelievable, isn't it, really, that this guy hardly missed a game when he played for Atletico Madrid. He comes to Arsenal and we can't get him on the pitch. And as Lopez is saying here, who's going to play the Europa League games? Because if you play La Conga and Granit Xhaka on Sunday against Manchester United, you've then got Zurich on Thursday. How do you rotate that? Who do you play in midfield? Because you haven't got 2 more midfielders. Maybe you play Fabio Vieira and maybe you play... I don't know who you play midfield with him. Maybe you play Zinchenko midfield if he's fit. We genuinely don't have 2 fit centre midfielders that can go and play against Zurich if you was trying to rotate the 2 that are going to play against Manchester United. Big up Buenos Aires Goon. Hope you're well, bro. He said, "Buenos Dias, Curtis, listening from work. Hope you're all well. South London's fine." He said, "You have tried to manage him, but he has failed. Make him a squad player." I think that's what you may have to do with him next season. He may have to get downgraded to a backup player because we can't afford to have him there and not playing football. Who else is available on a Bosman? I did see a list of players out of contract. There wasn't a lot there. I think Adel Tarapt, Juan Mata, Ross Barkley. I forget the others. They were the main ones that I remember seeing. There was nothing there. Ross Barkley's probably the only actual centre midfielder. So people saying Ben White could play midfield. On the importance of getting fees for players, have they figured this out now? You are actually allowed to sell people. You don't have to give them all away. He said, "I always say that the market doesn't lie. When a player comes and says, 'I have to do that, leave,' it's very simple. We have to go into the market and the other teams and coaches are going to tell you how good they are. It is true what your value is and what you've done. We have obviously tried to get everything done that we can, and sometimes you have to get the right balance. Hopefully, we will be in a very different position soon." Basically, he's saying these players we got to get rid of are not very good, so we can't get no money for them. But to be honest, we should have been able to get, Aubameyang, Bellerin, all these players really. The list goes on of players that have left for nothing, which is very, very disappointing. Hopefully it does improve in the future. And what he is most proud of about the opening 5 games, the feeling and energy around the club, the way the team is playing, performing. At the end of the day, the icing on the cake is winning football matches. That is the only reason we are here. We have to continue to do that. If we keep doing the simple things right, maintain the energy levels, belief and enthusiasm that we have, we'll keep playing well. On doing that with a young squad, he said, it's very fulfilling when you see a player 6 months ago and you review certain things with them from a year ago. Sometimes you cannot believe how much they've grown in a year. When you have huge talent, hungry personalities, and people who love what they do, amazing things happen. This is an interesting one. NO04 versus EU says, City have the exact same squad size. Listen, let me say something before we get into that. This isn't about numbers. Arsenal have numbers. I showed you the squad depth earlier. We got numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about the quality of the quantity. You know, we've got Le Congo and El Neni to back up Thomas Partey, but are any of those two good enough? At the moment, you would have to say they haven't proved it. It's not about numbers. This isn't a numbers game. Reece Nelson and Marquinhos are right wingers to back up Saka. Are those two good enough at the moment? No. So this isn't a numbers game. It doesn't matter if City have the exact same size squad. You know, they've got Haaland and Alvarez. They won the league with no striker, then signed 2 strikers. They've got Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Grealish in wide areas. You know, Phillips, Rodri, De Bruyne, Gundogan. Their squad is so balanced and so high in quality. I think that argument is a flawed argument. This isn't about numbers. This is about the level of quality that we have. So, yeah, it's got nothing to do with that, in my opinion. They're elite all over the place. We are not. And as Ben said, City have an elite squad. FaZe, big Man United fan, said no excuses on. I ain't making no excuses, bro. No excuses. You make your bed, you have to lay in it. If our midfield gets roasted and we get beat, that falls on the manager and the technical director. If we go there and beat Man United, then fair play, it worked out. So no excuses. As good as Man United are, they're still not that good. But Old Trafford is always difficult for us. On doing it with a young squad, he said it's fulfilling. Oh, no, we read that already. We read that. On whether the psychological barrier of Old Trafford is still an issue, he said, I don't think so. We have gone through things like that when we hadn't won at Stamford Bridge for 20 or something years. You need to believe you will do that. If you can play the way you want to play, you will win football matches. We've done it, and that's the belief we have. On how close he came to signing Lisandro Martinez, he said, I will talk about the players that we have. On whether he was surprised by the criticism Martinez has received, he said, I think every player gets criticism, sometimes positive and sometimes negative. Oh, man, I have to admit, I am delighted that press conference is over. That was painful, absolutely painful, that one. Oh, my days, that made my eyes hurt, man. I really did not enjoy reading a lot of that waffle. Don't forget, people, before we move on, if you could do me an absolute wonder, Football Content Awards voting closes on Sunday evening. If you haven't voted already, the link is in the description below. All of the 3 different categories: Best Premier League Club Content Creator, Best in Video, and Best Content Creator. Obviously, we won Best New Content Creator last year, so it'd be great to win it again. If you haven't already voted, link in the description. It would be much appreciated if you could vote. And hopefully we can at least get nominated for an award again and try and win. Jitesh said, Big C, I'm bloated. I'm telling you, way too much waffle. Right. I've had I would say a reasonably calm rant. I think I've been quite calm today. Salman said, if you read my comment, I will vote. Salman, there you go. I think I've been quite calm. I think last night I was way more annoyed than I am today. I am still annoyed. I feel like we've been let down as fans. I really do. But ultimately, what can we do about it now? All we can do is concentrate on moving forward. And the best way to solve any debate is to win football matches. 7 days, a lot can change in football. If Arsenal go to Old Trafford and get beat, all of a sudden, things can look very bad. You didn't buy anyone, you went there and you lost. If we go there and get 3 points or even get a draw, then I think it's a positive result and we all calm down and we say, you know what, Partey's back in a couple of weeks. Everton at home next weekend should be a winnable game even if he's not back for that. Maybe we have him back for the Brentford game and everything calms down a little bit. I think this is a calmer me from last season. I think last season, if this happened, it would have been Arsenal therapy and I would have been going crazy today. I've tried to calm down. We're top of the league. So in one sense, I have to add balance to the debate. But I am disappointed. I really wanted a new player today. But hey, it is what it is. We go to Manchester United, one of the biggest games in the Premier League. We have fallen down the ladder in the sense that this was 2 title challenging teams back in the day. But it is what it is. It's the reality of football. It's moved. City and Liverpool are top dogs. We're now top 4 challengers. Still a big game, still an entertaining game, and still a game that both teams will be desperate to win. I'm just going to put one more poll up, though, before we end it, right? I'm going to put the Ross Barkley debate. I've put it on Twitter, and it's getting all sorts of interaction. Would you take Ross Barkley on a free now that the window's closed? There you go. One more poll. More polls than a strip club, people. Right, let's talk about the game. It's Arsenal against Manchester United at Old Trafford. A big game. We're top of the league. 5 wins out of 5. Man United have won their last 3. They're a little bit revitalised. They've signed Anthony. They've signed Casemiro. And, you know, they're starting to feel a little bit better right now. So it's going to be a tricky one. What team do we play at Old Trafford, people? What team do we play at Old Trafford? Now, I've left a few gaps here just for the sake of debate on the content. I think all of these players are certainties to play if they're fit and available. We heard there that Ramsdale hasn't trained yet, but he expects Ramsdale and Odegaard to play, to be honest as well. Sorry. Odegaard, if fit, will start. He's captain. He's playing well in the last few games, and he will play. 2 question marks here, in my opinion. Right back, do you stick with Ben White, who Ben White is playing well? So Ben White, in my opinion, would probably deserve to play. On the other hand, if Sancho's playing on the left and he scored in the last couple games, is that somebody that Ben White's going to struggle against, and would you go back to Tomiyasu? The other one, middle of midfield. Now, I was going to have the debate here today. Should we play Sambila, Congo or Zinchenko in midfield? But the manager has said Zinchenko hasn't trained and doesn't look as if he's probably going to be fit for that game. So ultimately, it's basically Sambila, Congo or no one else. The only other option, you could put Ben White into midfield and play Tomiyasu at right back. But me personally, I don't get into that Ben White centre midfield debate. I just don't think he's the answer. Yeah, and a few people have said this. Ben White was not seen in any of the pictures today in training. So is there a little knock there as well? We don't know. I'm sure we'll find out. So we've got an issue. In reality, Sambila Congo is our centre midfielder. He cost 17 million. He played well against Aston Villa. He's going to start in midfield. Now, there's no doubt in my mind. At the moment, I'm going to put Ben White at right back, right? I'm just going to put him there because he's been playing there. Arguably, he'll start there. But if he didn't train, Tomiyasu will come in. Where is this game going to be won or lost against Manchester United? There is no doubt that our problem is in midfield, right? There's just no doubt about it. Martin Odegaard, this typically is a game where I ask questions of this guy. Can he go to these places and perform? He actually scored against Man United at Old Trafford last year. And Man United were a real mess, but we still lost to Man United last year. I think Ronaldo scored a couple of goals. It'd be interesting if he plays. Our best opportunity of winning this game is this front three. It's as simple as that. This front three have to be at it at Old Trafford. It's a big pitch. United push players forward. They'll try and hit us. Saka and Martinelli against Dalot and Malacia. That Malacia looks quite good at left back. Dallow's quite physical, but I think Martinelli can get the better of him. Jesus against Lissandro and Varane. Now, they have played well, but we know that Lissandro is going to be desperate to prove a point. We nearly signed him. He's going to want to prove how good he is. So that front three is the key to us winning this game. And the back four keeping their attack out. We have looked a lot more solid at the back this season. Tierney looked a lot better against Villa. Gabriel and Saliba have been quality. Ben White, does he play or Tomiyasu? As I said, a lot of people saying Ben White was not seen in any of the training pictures today. So is he fit? Is there a problem there? Does Tomiyasu come in at right back? Ramsdale and Odegaard, we've got doubts. If those two don't play, I think we've got a real problem. The interesting thing, if Odegaard doesn't play, do you play Fabio Vieira or do you play Emile Smith-Rowe? South London's Fine is saying go to a back three. Interesting, would give us more solidarity. I just don't think the manager's going to change the whole system because of a couple of players being missing. I personally think he'll stick with the system that we've won 5 out of 5 with. Also, if you go to a back three, are you almost paying Man United too much respect in saying we're going to play 5 midfielders? So, yeah, I'm not sure whether whether it's worth going to a back three against United. I think we've got to look at what we can do to them rather than worrying too much about them. We do have to be mindful. Where the problem is, people, is no doubt is the middle and midfield. There's absolutely no question. Now, don't get it twisted. Man United's midfield isn't unbelievable in terms of, you know, if McTominay plays or Fred plays, I think Casemiro will probably start this game. You might see maybe Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno. Defensively, you can expose Eriksen. He's not great defensively. Where I think Arsenal need to make this game difficult for Casemiro is if he starts. Casemiro is a top quality centre midfielder, no doubt about that. However, he hasn't started a game in the Premier League yet. It doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how much you've done at Real Madrid. This is the Prem. The game is different. It's more physical. It's quicker. It's totally different. We need to turn this into a typical Premier League fixture where Casemiro maybe gets a little bit overawed by it. Yeah, Casemiro's a world beater next to Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. This is the Prem. This is different. Now, people saying he looked good yesterday when he came on against Leicester. No disrespect, we're better than Leicester. We've got to make this game fast, all action, make life difficult for him. I suppose the problem is, with Xhaka and Congo, do we have enough to create that kind of damage to him with the midfield that we've got? We need to make it fast-paced, and we need to make life difficult. Odegaard needs to get on the ball, get between the lines, be difficult to pick up. Then it is down to the front three to damage that Manchester United back four. They have defended well the last 3 games, but let's not forget they got battered by Brentford and battered by Brighton. I know they had, you know, Maguire and players like that on the pitch, but it's still there. So the game's very much in the balance for me. It's about what happens in both areas. Ultimately, one thing I'll say without me capping is Manchester United at Old Trafford against Arsenal, they usually turn up. How many times, you know, United were awful last year. Absolutely horrendous. They finished, 7th or 6th, in the league. It's one of the worst United teams I've ever seen, and they still beat us last season at Old Trafford. We beat them at the Emirates. So it doesn't matter how bad they are. They turn up against us. They tend to turn up at Old Trafford in a lot of these big games. Not all of them, but some of them. A lot will depend on who scores first. A lot will depend on the speed with which we play the game. And I think if we can score first, there's still a little bit of negativity around Old Trafford. They're still singing Glazers out. They're still not totally convinced with everything that Ten Hag is doing. And there's also this soap opera of Cristiano Ronaldo in the background. Will Ronaldo play? I personally think that it's a difficult one, that, because if he wants to continue high pressing, they're probably better off playing Rashford and Sancho and whoever else they play up front. Is it Elanga? Maybe Anthony gets his debut. But it's hard to keep leaving Ronaldo out. So it'll be interesting who United will play. Do you know what? I'm going to end this poll and do one more poll before we get out of it. And this is interesting. I am very surprised by this. 52% of Arsenal fans in the comments saying they would take Ross Barkley on a free. 48% saying no. I genuinely thought more of you would say no than yes. I mean, Ross Barkley on a free, that would be an interesting one, I have to say. The final poll I'm going to do is, what do you think the result will be at Old Trafford? What will the result be for Arsenal at Old Trafford? Win, lose or draw? How confident are you? And be honest, because I've had some friends saying, oh, we're going to batter them 4-0. I don't think we will. I just don't think we will. It'll be difficult. So do you think we'll beat United? Or do you think we'll come unstuck? Do you think we lose that midfield battle and they beat us? Or do we kind of cancel each other out and get a draw? I'm going to say one thing now, and I hope this doesn't come across negative. I would take a draw all day long. You offer me 1-1 draw now, I get out of there and we call the game off. I'll take a draw. 5 wins and a draw. Everton at home next week. They're pretty bad. beat them. Partey comes back, play Brentford, international break, keep it moving. Get Ross Barkley in on a free. No. So, yeah, man, I would take a draw all day long, but get voting. It'll be a tough game. It's going to be tough. Faye's going 2-1 United. Footy Chat says 2-1 United. Salman says 3-2 Arsenal. Prince saying 2-1 narrow win. Techman, we will lose 3-1. Cristiano Ronaldo on the score sheet twice. JA10 said 1-0 to Arsenal. Jamrock Gunners 4-2 to Arsenal. YT Alpha said, if we want to be a contender for the title, we need to win. We're not title contenders this season, bro. I know we are right now. We're top, but we're not there. We're not there. We don't have the depth to win the title this year. We just don't. But anyway, we need to win the game. Barkley's been done. Can't even get in at Chelsea. Serious. But then David Luiz couldn't get in at Chelsea, and we signed him. Lassana Diarra. We've signed players from them in the past. Arsenal 2-1, says John. So, yeah. Again, just looking at the league table before we start rounding up, and the way that United have started, what they've done well, and they've kind of turned it around a little bit. A few weeks ago, it was absolute meltdown settings for them, but they have kind of crawled out of a hole a little bit and got themselves back into contention. So this is a game which would be great for us to create some, space between us and them. Man United up to 5th, 9 points. You can see there with United, people, 5 goals in 5 games. They're not free-flowing at the moment. They've conceded 7, and they're on -2 goal difference. So I still think with United, in both penalty areas, they're still not firing on all cylinders as of yet. They've conceded a lot of goals considering that many games, and they've only scored 5. Brighton have scored more than Manchester United at this point. We've scored 13 goals in 5 games. Man United have scored 5, which is why I believe we need to score first and put them on the back foot. I think when you go 1-0 up against Manchester United, they struggle, because I think they start to question themselves. And I think that atmosphere at Old Trafford, it turns slightly. We need to score first. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. But I think we're going to struggle. I think United aren't that good, though. That's the thing. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. But in reality, I could see it maybe being a draw, if I'm being totally honest. I could see it being a draw. I think we're going to have a difficult day at the office. But I think our attack will cause them problems. So my mind's telling me, no, but my body... Sorry, I shouldn't be singing R. Kelly, He's been cancelled, but sorry. When I said my mind's telling me, the tune kicked in. I had to sing it. No, my mind's telling me that we'll beat them. It's Man United will score first. But my heart's saying we'll probably draw the game. 2-2, I'll go for. But if we can get the win, then it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If we beat them, I'm going to be absolutely gassed, because that will be 6 wins out of 6. With Everton next week, which I would expect to be 7 out of 7, and we're absolutely flying. So, yeah, no more R. Kelly songs on here for real. Let me end that poll. It was just a quick one, people, just to see what you think. 47% of you saying that Arsenal will win. 30% say draw, and 23% say we will lose. It's a big game. That is for sure. Let's hope the Arsenal go 3-point collecting. Before we get out of here, people, tomorrow at 4 p.m, I will be back with a match preview. I will have Saeed on here. We're going to do a mixed 11 and look ahead to the game. Let's get him on here, Mr. Twanzebe himself. 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Arsenal against Man United preview, so tune in for that. Obviously on Sunday, it will be the watch-along. Absolutely massive game. I'm going to go live 1 hour before kickoff, 4:30 kickoff. I'll be live from 3:30, so we'll have an hour's build-up. Big game, and one of my favourite games of the season, to be honest, Arsenal against Manchester United. So looking forward to it. A win would really settle all of this feeling at the moment about the lack of transfers at the end of the window. So can't wait for it. Join me tomorrow, 4 p.m. Preview with Saeed, 3:30 for the watch-along against Man United. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget, link in the description if you can vote. Curtis Shaw TV at the Football Content Awards. Best Premier League content creator, best football content creator, and best in video. Everything is in the description below. Enjoy your Friday, people. Don't worry that we haven't signed any players. There's nothing we can do about it, I'm afraid. Let's hope we just go 3-point collecting at Old Trafford. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.